وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيد الأولين والآخرين محمد.
إن الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونسترضيه ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا بين يدي الساعة. من يطع الله تعالى ورسوله فقد رشد، ومن يعصيهما فما يضر الله تعالى شيئا وما يضر إلا نفسه. رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه، فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر وما بدلوا تبديلا. سبحان Allah. We listen to the adhan that our brother just recited with his beautiful voice, mashallah. And we listen to the adhan thousands of times, word by word. But have we paid attention to what the adhan is about? The adhan is a calling to do something. And on its face, it's a calling to prayers. The adhan tells us, Hayya ala salat. We just listen to it. Yet it's not just prayers for prayers. Even though it's the pillars of our deen, the ultimate goal of the adhan is a calling to what Islam is all about. Hayya ala salat, hayya ala al-falah. Falah is success. Islam as a way of life, as a method, as an ideology to do things and abstain from doing other things with one cause, that is the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in mind, is about nothing but you being the most successful in this dunya, living the most joyful, satisfying, fulfilling life, on your way to the ultimate success of any human being, or any jinn, or any ins on the face of the planet. That is the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with ultimate pleasures eternally and forever. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the best in this dunya and the best of the thereafter, the ultimate success. Is it just a theory that we think that Islam is about success and that's it, believe in it or not, it's just some thought? Look at what Islam had accomplished. Look at the Roman Empire, the greatest empire that spread by military force probably in the old history of mankind. It took him 800 years to spread throughout the 3 known continents. Comes the Muslims with no resources whatsoever from a harsh desert that neither the Romans or the Persians wanted to even occupy because they had nothing, and in less than 80 years they ruled the world. But they ruled the world with their manners, with their social justice, with a living standard that people had never seen, and a civility that some countries in the West today do not have. And not only the companions of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had that tremendous miraculous success, but they were also so successful in their own personal life, in their own business life, in their own marital lives. 8 out of the 10 that were promised Jannah were 8 of the wealthiest people that Quraysh had ever seen. So what is the secret? What is it that I should follow or pay attention to in the manners of these companions of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, so I can bring that deserved success for me as a Muslim in my own personal, business, marital life, and everything that I would do, and inshallah on my way to Jannah? Notice that I did not use the examples of the prophets, because the easiest thing to be said is that they're prophets of God, they're perfect people. I'm not going to ever be a prophet of God. But you can reach the status of belief and achievement like the companions of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And our religion is for everyone. And whoever followed their example, 100 years later, 200 years later, 1,000 years later, received the same degree of success. What are the main features and characters of the companions that if I follow, I will be that successful? That is the question. First feature. Their belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was practical and was real. What do I mean by that? When there's haram, it's something that never to be touched. When there's halal, it's something that I need to do and do as much as I can of. Abdurrahman ibn Umar ibn Khattab said it, and subhanAllah, it's so simple. كنا نحفظ العشر آيات لا ننتقل إلى ما بعدها حتى نعمل بهن. We used to memorize the Quran 10 ayat at a time. And we would not move to the next set of 10 ayat till we have applied the first 10 ayat in our own life. The practicality of Islam. When you tell someone this is haram, it's done. There's no questions asked. There's no let me ask another sheikh who might tell me what I like to do because I follow my desires, not the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not that, there's an excuse or everything is a darura, so I do everything according to what I like and according to my limited comprehension and not the true guidance, the true benefit of halal and haram. One time, the Medina of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was alive, and the companions were there, smelled like you open a whole barrel of wine. SubhanAllah, how is that possible? That's the day when wine, al-khamr, was forbidden for Muslims. No matter how addicted they were, no matter how much they liked it, no matter how much money they paid for it, every single one of them took whatever they had of wine and threw it in the streets of Medina till it was flowing with wine. The whole city. No questions asked. No, but I paid a lot of money, or I need it because it's like some kind of medicine, or I have lack of this, and no questions asked, immediate obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it was not just the haram and halal, even if there's a hint in the Quran or the hadith of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ about something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would prefer. If you do not do it, you're not committing a sin, but just the preference of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Example, what would you do if you're one of the most honorable people in your town and your daughter gets married to a man who's even more honorable than you? And then all of a sudden you start hearing rumors that some hypocrites are spreading about your daughter having an affair, an extramarital affair against that honorable man, the most honorable man that she's married to. What would you do? How angry you would be. On top of that a major distributor of the rumor is none other than a member of your own family. Is that enough? No, that is a poor member of your family that you give a monthly charity to. You will help him with his own life. What would you do to that person?
Support them.
SubhanAllah. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu listened to Hadithat al-Ifk. That people claim that Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anhu was seen with Safwan ibn al-Mu'attal, and he was a good companion, and the man never even talked to Sayyidah Aisha. And who was spreading the rumor? Muslah ibn Uthatha, one of his relatives, that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu used to help him with charity. Because of the manners of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he swore, Wallahi la anfa'hu binafi'atin abada. I'll never benefit him ever again. Yet in Surah An-Nur, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself revealed the innocence of a Sayyidah Aisha in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala added the verse, وَلْيَعْفُوا وَلْيَصْفَحُوا أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. It is to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. Forgive and pardon people. Don't you like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to pardon and forgive you? Just a hint, if he doesn't, he is justified even to fight him. What would Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu do with his manners? SubhanAllah, the maximum you could imagine that he would forgive him. No, he forgave him and started giving him charity back again. Just for a hint that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala liked this. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu said, Wallahi, Ya Rabbana, inna lanuhibbu an taghfir lana. Oh, by Allah, we love that you would forgive us. You forgive people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you. Absolute obedience to the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no questions asked. What is the second feature? Second feature is absolute zuhd in this dunya. And anything that can tempt anyone. And people have a misconception about zuhd. People think that zuhd is that you're poor, you have torn clothes, you sit next to the wall, reading Quran all the time and crying and you have nothing. No. Zuhd, as per the definition of Ali ibn Abi Talib, أن تملك الدنيا ولا تملك. That you own the world, but the world will not own your heart. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu talking to the tabi'een, the next generation of the followers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لأنتم تعملون أكثر من صحابة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ولكنهم كانوا خيرا منكم. You do way more in ibadat than the companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but they still were better than you. Why? كانوا أزهد في الدنيا وأرهب في الآخرة. They were so detached from the dunya with whatever that they have from it, and they were more wishing for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has for them in the akhirah. Subhanallah. Look at Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu visiting Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah in his tent. Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah at the time was the leader of the equivalent of today's Syria, Palestine, Lebanon, Jordan combined. He goes into the tent and there is nothing. There's no furniture, there's no bed, there's nothing. Just the spear and the shield and the saddle that he puts on the back of his horse, he used as a pillow to sleep on. So Umar ibn Khattab told him, what do you do with the salary that you get? He's an army leader, he gets a salary from Baytul Mal. Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah looked at Umar ibn Khattab and said, إِنَّ هَذَا لَيُبْلِغُنِي الْمَقِيلِ. This is what I need to get me where I want to go. The satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is my tools. If there's a fight for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I go there. Other than that, my salary, I donate to the Muslim charity. Look at Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu was asking Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah radiallahu anhu about his salary. They appoint him as a Khalifa. So he goes to his wife. What is the absolute minimum that we need to live on? She tells him 60 dinars. He said, no, that's too much. Umar ibn Khattab keeps bargaining and haggling with her till she came to 30 dinars and said, that's it, we cannot live less than 30 dinars. He says, fine. 3 months pass, and then he goes home, and there's this beautiful, expensive pastry dish that he likes. It's his favorite. And then he asks her, where did you get this? She said, I know this is your favorite dish, so every month I save 2 dinars till I had the 6 dinars that afforded me to buy the ingredients for that pastry dish of yours. He called the servant, he said, take this and give it to the Muslim treasury and tell him, starting from next month, my salary is only 28 dinars. SubhanAllah. Look at how they were devoted for whatever that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their ultimate goal, they didn't think about anything but what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And within that they were willing to go to places that no one ever went before. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in one of the battles, there was a Bedouin that accepted Islam recently and participated in the battle. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him his share of the spoils. The man comes to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Ma hada? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, qasamtahu lak. The man looked at Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with all sincerity in the world. He said, Ma ala hada taba'tuk. I did not follow you for this. لكني اتبعتك كي أرمى ها هنا. I followed you. Not for this, but I followed you so I would be hit with an arrow in my throat here. فأقتل فأذهب إلى الجنة. So I would die and get into paradise. Prophet Muhammad looked at him and said, إن تصدق الله يصدق. If you are truthful with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be truthful with you. They get into another round of fighting, and all of a sudden the companions are carrying a man who is hit with an arrow in his throat. Prophet Muhammad looked at him and said, Ahwa, is this him? The companion said, yes, this him. He said, صدق الله فصدقه. He was truthful with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was truthful with him. And in a rare statement of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he raised his hand, he said, Ya Allah, هذا عبدك خرج مجاهدا فقتل شهيدا. أنا شهيد على ذلك. This is your worshipper. He left his home for your sake, and he died as a martyr, and I am a witness that he died as a martyr. SubhanAllah. Al-Bara ibn Malik radiallahu anhu. Wallahi, the stories of the companions, you're not talking about regular human beings like superheroes. Our children follow Spider-Man and Iron Man and Tin Man and Crazy Man. Wallahi, the real superheroes look at the stories of the Sahaba. In the Battle of Yamama, when they're fighting Musaylima al-Kadhab, one of the people who supported him, Banu Hunayfa. So they got into a garden that had high walls surrounded, closed the door, and they would not fight the Muslims. And there's nothing the Muslims can do. It's so high, the walls are so high. Al-Bara ibn Malik radiallahu anhu looked at the companion and said, Ya ma'ashar al-Muslimin, ulqu biha alayhim fil hadiqa. Throw me at them at the garden. So they looked at him and said, if we can't throw you in, we would have jumped in ourselves. He said, no. He slept on his shield. The shield is kind of, curved. And he asked them to put the tips of their spears underneath it and carry them. So it's their height and the height of the spears. And they were able to actually throw him inside. He was fighting and he was that creative. He wanted to satisfy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in what? Beyond closed walls, he wanted to fight an entire army alone. He kept fighting them alone. An army surrounding him from every corner. Then he got to the door from inside, opened it, and let the Muslims in, and they won the battle. Khalid ibn Walid, the one who nursed him for an entire month, and he counted over 82 stabbing and cuts and wounds in his body. SubhanAllah. How do you get that sincerity? When you have true belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you see the Jannah with your own eyes, and it's the only thing that you focus on, then your actions are all towards the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the pleasing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the decisions that we fight with about this dunya and the temptations and to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not, or how far we go in obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes so easy. That's why it was so easy for them, and they ruled the world. Alhamdulillah ala ni'mat al-Islam. Alhamdulillah ala ni'mat al-Islam. Wa kafa biha ni'ma. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الخلق أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. SubhanAllah. What are the rest of the features? And before we go into them, I remind you, I'm not telling you how great they were, because guess what? As great as Umar ibn Khattab was, his good deeds are only his. You're not sharing in it. The same way with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're not sharing in the sins of other people. We do not share their good deeds. These are features that I want you to think as I tell you and as I told you. How can I apply that in my own life? How can I be like that in whatever capacity that I do, so I can gain the same level of acceptance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and share the same level of success? Look at how much the companions hated to differ with each other. How valuable the fact that they are at one decision, على قلب رجل واحد, they have one man's heart, was so important to them, even if it was against their own personal opinion and own personal belief and observation. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu was making Hajj at the time of Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu in Mecca, and then Asr prayers come in. He prayed Asr 2 rakats. It's a distance of Qasr. The people around him said that Uthman ibn Affan were here before you and he prayed Asr 4 rakat. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud did not like it. Istarja'a. He said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And then stood up and re-prayed the Asr as 2 rakats. So people were like amazed. You just made istirja' and now we do it exactly like Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu. Even though he told them that I seen Prophet Muhammad sallallahu Umar, Abu Bakr, when they travel, when they go from Medina to Mecca for Hajj, that they actually pray Asr only 2 rakats. What was his answer to them? Inna al-khilafa shar. Just to differ with my Amir al-Mu'mineen, who represents the consensus of what the Muslims do, is more evil than my own personal opinion. So even though I differ in opinion, but in action, I would do exactly like all the Muslims would do, and I follow my Amir. The same exact situation happened in Mina with whom? Abu Dharr al-Ghafari. Radiallahu anhu. He goes, prays 2 rak'ahs. They tell him, Uthman ibn Affan, subhanAllah, prayed 4 rak'ahs. He tells him, I did the same thing. I see Prophet Muhammad Abu Bakr, Umar pray only 2 rak'ahs in the distance of Hudson in here. And after he finished, he stood up and prayed 4 rak'ahs. So they told him, Abu Dharr, عتبت على أمير المؤمنين وتفعل عملك. And you do exactly like him. He said, إن الخلافة أشد. Whatever problem that I could possibly have with the difference of my opinion of the Muslims or the leader of the Muslims, different with them is even way worse. So I'd rather be together with the Muslims than my own personal opinion. Again, the Quran to them was a practical way of life. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Hold on to the straight path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of you, that's not a wish, that's not a hope. This is an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So any matter, I would see the consensus of the majority of the Muslims, and that would be my opinion, and that would be what I do, irrelevant for what I think or what preference I might have. The unity of the Muslims. That's why they were unstoppable. Look at how they cared about each other. And we forget the many hadith of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. You will never become a believer till you wish for your brother what you wish for yourself. It cannot be simpler than that. But when I deal with Muslim brothers, do I think the same way? Is that my preference? Is that the first thing that comes to mind? If it's not, then I need to review my iman, because that is the condition of iman. In Ghazwat Mu'tah, Zayd ibn Haritha was the leader of the army. The second in command was Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. Both of them are killed. And even after them, Abdullah ibn Abi Rawaha was killed also. And that was the first battle that the fourth in command, Khalid ibn Walid, leads the battle. Ja'far ibn Abi Talib passes away. It is the Muslim's good brother. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu runs. Who is his wife? Asma bint Umays. And he had children. Immediately proposes and marries her so he can take care of his wife and take care of his own children. Not just give him charity and that's enough. No, him personally would treat him like his own children and take care of the entire family for the sake of his late brother, who's not around anymore. Look at Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu. Prophet Muhammad akhahu, gave him the partnership of another brother in Al-Madinah. When the Muslims immigrated, he immigrated to Medina, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, with nothing, just a shirt on his back. Sa'd ibn Rabi' al-Ansari. If I tell you there's a guy who's just Muslim, you probably do not know who he is. All you know about him, he says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. He's poor, he has nothing, he comes from another town. What would you do for him? If you are the most generous nowadays, you would pay for his hotel for some days, you would look for a job for him, you would give him a couple of meals, invite him till he stands on his foot, and you would be the most generous. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you if that's what's in your heart towards your Muslim brothers. But he's talking about the companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sa'd ibn Rabi'ah told him, I will share everything that I have with you. My business, my money, my house, whatever that I have. And that was true. Abdurrahman ibn Auf was one of the most talented traders that the world had ever seen. Whatever he touched turned into gold. And that's a different story. He said, Barakallahu laka fi malika wa ahlik. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you for your money and your family. Ayna sunuqikum. Where is your market? He just wanted to know where the market is so he can go trade. Within 1 week, with the shirt on his back, Prophet Muhammad wearing a brand new suit, already got married. The first thing that he done, got married with a dowry of nawatu min al-dhahab. See an apricot, see how big the nawat, the seed of it? It's weight in gold. And who he got married, of all the women that he could have picked and chose to marry, he married Kulthum bint Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayt. Why? It's the only woman that immigrated with them because she accepted Islam and they were about to kill her or torture her over there. So she escaped with her deen to Medina. He specifically wanted to marry her so he can protect her and care for her. Remember the incident when when Prophet Muhammad was praying, he would get the intestines of rotten intestines of a camel and put them on the back of Prophet Muhammad when he was praying. That is Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayt, that is her father. and he was killed in the Battle of Badr. That's how they cared about each other. These were their priorities. Look at how when some of them would have a problem, any problem. Sayyidah Asma bint Abi Bakr, radiallahu anha, she used to get severe headaches. Whenever she gets the headache, she would put her head on her hand over her head and said, هَذَا بِذَنْبِي وَاللَّهُ يَغْفِرُ الْكَثِيرِ. This is because of my own fault. Some sin that I committed, and that's why it's happening to me, but I'm hoping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgets a lot. When something wrong happens, وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَيَعْفُ عَن كَثِيرٍ. They blamed themselves. They made themselves so severely accountable for their own sins. And that's why they committed so little sins. And that's why they repented so much to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah they're in the highest Jannah. Imam Abi Darda radiallahu anhu was very sick at his last days. And then people come to him, they want to do something for him, but they don't know what. So they asked him, Ya Abu Darda, ما تشتكي? What are you complaining? So they give him medicine, they try to help him with anything. What are you complaining about? What is your pain? He said, dhunubi. My sins, that's all I care about. That's the pain. That physical pain, I don't care for. But what I'm worried about is my own sins. They go back to him again. وَمَا تَشْتَهِي? And what is it that you want? Anything that you ask us that we can do for you? He would say one word, Al-Jannah. That's all I'm hoping for. That is all that I think about. Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Umar. When he was stabbed, when he was praying Fajr prayers, and was fighting death for a couple of days till he passed away, he used to weep, saying, وَيْلُ أُمِّ عُمَرٍ إِن لَمْ يَغْفِرَ رَبِّي لِعُمَرٍ. Crying in tears. Hellfire awaits Umar if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive Umar. One time Ali ibn Abi Talib anhu seen him weeping, and he asked him, why are you weeping, Umar? He said, إِنِّي أَخْشَى مَكْرَ اللَّهِ. I fear the plotting and the plans that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has for me. Umar al-Khattab, who expanded the Muslim state like no one ever done. And the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, all in his time, the opening of Egypt, subhanAllah, was so afraid that all this was just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not accept, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not give him the reward for it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had a different plan for him. The fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after all that, he was weeping. Ali ibn Abi Talib looks at him and answers, والله لو أردت أن أقابل ربي بكتاب أحد لأردت أن أقابل ربي بكتابك يا عمر. Why are you weeping, Umar? If I ever myself wish to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with someone else's book of deeds, I would wish to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your book, Umar. But then, one main feature, and it's a feature that I think we need to pay attention, especially nowadays, is that when they seek izzah, when they seek pride, when they rely upon a reference, they rely only upon the reference of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing else. In one of the greatest victories in the history of mankind, the apple of the eye of the Old East was the city of Jerusalem. The people that were running Jerusalem decided, you know what? We are going to give it to the Muslims. We're going to surrender it to the Muslims, but with one condition: if the one who would receive it from us is Umar ibn Khattab. We know the Muslims, we know their ethics, but we want Umar ibn Khattab, the just ruler, to receive it from us and give us the pledge of whatever that we want, make tasalih on. Umar ibn Khattab and Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah, Ameen wa Hadhihi al-Ummah, were traveling on their camels to receive the prize, the ultimate prize in the East ever. The keys of the city of Jerusalem. A pool of mud. The camel sees his reflection of Umar ibn Khattab who would not go. Umar ibn Khattab knows. He unmounts, he took his shoes under his armpit and walks through the mud and pulls the camel till the camel went through. Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah looked at Umar ibn Khattab, his feet are muddy, the tips of his garb is now laced with mud. And he looked at him. He said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, inna al-qawma istashrafuh. Oh, Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar, the nobles of Jerusalem are awaiting you. Are you going to walk into them? Subhanallah, with these muddy shoes and muddy garb. And all of a sudden Umar al-Khattab gets angry. Against whom? Abu Ubaidah al-Jarrah radiallahu anhu, who was promised Jannah by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said if it was anyone else, I would have made him regret saying this. كُنَّا أَذَلَّ النَّاسِ. We used to be the lowest of all people. فَأَعَزَّنَا اللَّهُ بِالْإِسْلَامِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the pride that allowed us now that people await us to give us their city without raising one sword. That's not because I'm Umar. That's not because you're Abu Ubaidah. That's because we have izzah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gave to us and granted us with the religion of Islam. فَمَهْمَا ابْتَغَيْنَا الْعِزَّةَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ أَذَلَّنَا اللَّهُ. And whenever you're going to seek pride or use anyone as a reference and worry about what would these people say or do other than, is it right and it is the right thing to do according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would bring us back to be the lowest people. A reminder for our condition now as a Muslim nation. That izzah, that pride, that use of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a reference was also coupled with absolute belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not tell us only in the Quran, adhere to me and obey me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the result of that and guarantees it. لَيَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give victory to whoever takes the side of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And it is a right upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give victory to the Muslims. Look at Khalid ibn Walid radiallahu anhu. في مقاطعة يرموك. The battle that destroyed the Byzantine Empire in the east. They learned about how mighty the Muslims are. And they had fortified castles, so they went into their Hudson and hid, and they would not want to fight. Heraclius, one of the leaders of the Romans, sent a spy to see what is about these Muslims. This Mecca and Quraysh and Medina, they were like no man's land and nobody cared about these people. And all of a sudden, they are spreading like wildfire throughout the world. Find out from me, what are these people made of? What happened? So he came to him, and subhanAllah, the spy was a smart man. He gave an ingenious statement to Heraclius, describing the Muslims. Hum fursanun bin nahar. They're like mighty knights at daytime. Ruhbanun bil layl. Like monks at night, they pray, they read the Quran. Yuhibbun al-mawta. They like death. Kama tuhibbuna antum al-hayat. Like you like life. SubhanAllah, they were hiding. And in all that, it's not about fighting, it's not about battling, it's not about wars. That was the calling of their time. If the calling of their time was feeding the needy, if the calling of their time was curing a cancer, if the calling of their time standing to oppression in whichever way, if the calling of their time was to spread education and enlightenment, they've done that throughout the stages of the history of Islam. But the ultimate goal is to satisfy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with whatever that is needed to be done. Khalid ibn Walid stands and makes his legendary statement. They're hiding in the castles, they don't want to fight. They're afraid of the Muslims. Wallahi law kuntum ta'laquna bis-sahabi. I swear by Allah that if you hung by the clouds, not behind your castles, you hung by the clouds. لَعَلِمْتُ أَنَّ اللَّهَ لَرَافِعَنَا إِلَيْكُمْ أَوْ لَخَافِضَكُمْ إِلَيْنَا. I know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would raise us up to you so He can give us our victory, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would bring you down from these clouds to the ground so we'll have our victory. We get our victory with us. And guess what? The Muslims won. And ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And its flag was raised all over the Sham, and inshallah it will come back again. SubhanAllah, these are the features. And they're simple things that I can follow and I can pursue in my life. Whatever that satisfies Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I obey. I do not get tempted by these things of the dunya. Be as rich as you want to be, but do not never let the money affect your heart. Do not let the money or the materialistic things be your goal and what your heart loves. Love your Muslim brother like you love yourself. Wish for him like you wish for yourself. Whenever anything happens to him, immediately in your mind as if something happened to you. And work to help out as much as you can. And learn that anything wrong that happens because we sinned. So we always make istighfar, we always make tawbah, we always make ourselves accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before we stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when there's no way back and there's nothing that we can change. And always my reference is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I am pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I'm satisfying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I am following the guidance, the blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon mankind that is Islam, then I should not worry about any reference. Whoever says whatever they want, whoever would do whatever they're going to do, but nothing will hurt me that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not write for me, and nothing will benefit me that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not want to benefit me with. Inshallah, before we finish, I want to remind you of the tragic accident that happened to our brothers in Masjid al-Tawheed. It was burned down this morning. The fire destroyed the inside of the masjid. Till, subhanAllah, the cause is determined, and we hope it's just an accident, and the insurance comes in. It's going to take months, and we need to rebuild the entire masjid from inside. So whatever that you can, inshallah, Sheikh Mohammad Musa is going to gather a fund to help them. Whatever that he can, whoever that you know that he can, inshallah, help with them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and help with them. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به. واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا. أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وكل ما قربنا إليها من قول وعمل، ونعوذ بك من النار وكل ما قربنا إليها من قول وعمل. اللهم ارحم المسلمين والمسلمات، اللهم ارحم المؤمنين والمؤمنات، اللهم ارفق بإخواننا في سوريا، اللهم ارفق بإخواننا في سوريا، اللهم اكسهم، اللهم أطعمهم، اللهم احمهم، اللهم انصرهم، اللهم انصر المسلمين والمسلمات في أفريقيا الوسطى، اللهم انصر المسلمين والمسلمات في بورما، اللهم انصر المسلمين والمسلمات في فلسطين، اللهم انصر المسلمين والمسلمات في مصر يا رب. اللهم كن على من نكل بالمسلمين وبطش بهم، اللهم كن على من نكل بالمسلمين وبطش بهم، فإنك أشد بأسا وأشد تنكيلا. اللهم عجل بنصرك، اللهم عجل بتأييدك، اللهم عجل بنصرك، اللهم عجل بتأييدك. وأنا آخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
ونسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيد الأولين والآخرين محمد